Welcome. My name is Annette Mills, and on behalf of the Corvallis Sustainability Coalition, I would like to welcome you to this quarterly gathering. It is just great to be back in person and seeing so many familiar faces, but some new faces as well. So welcome to all of you. The Sustainability Coalition was launched 16 years ago in 2007, and one of our primary purposes is to encourage communication and collaboration among organizations and individuals in Corvallis and Benton County who are dedicated to creating a sustainable community. We're a network of more than 350 partner organizations, businesses, nonprofits, educational institutions, faith communities, and government entities. Our partner organizations represent a wide diversity of people and interests, and what we have in common is our mission: to promote an ecologically, socially, and economically healthy city and county. Now, it costs nothing to join the coalition. We don't charge a membership fee, but every time we have a quarterly gathering, there are costs involved. Today's gathering is made possible thanks to the generosity of two of our partner businesses, Northwest Realty Consultants, which is our food sponsor, and Conundrum House, which is our facility sponsor. And for the first time, we are recording the quarterly gathering. You probably saw Ashley Terry in the back from Ashley Terry Films, who's recording. And thanks to the generosity of 6 of our partner organizations who are helping to fund this recording: Benton Soil and Water Conservation District, Energy Wise Services, Grassroots Books and Music, the Linn Benton chapter of the Pacific Green Party, Slow Food Corvallis, and Tarweed Folk School. So I'd like to ask all of our representatives of those sponsoring organizations to please stand and join me in thanking them. I also want to acknowledge Green Girl for loaning us reusable servingware, First Alternative Co-op staff, who are totally amazing, for preparing and serving today's delicious food, and all the volunteers who helped set up today's event. We'd also like, yes, thank you. We'd also like to recognize our engaged partners, and these are individuals and partner organizations that have made a donation of $250 or more to the Coalition's General Fund and our endowment fund during the past year. We rely very heavily on the generosity of our engaged partners. These are community members and organizations that believe in the work that we are doing, believe that it matters, and that it's making a difference in making our community more livable and more resilient. Many of our engaged partners donate in monthly installments, making it possible to become an engaged partner for as little as $21 a month. Their generous annual contributions to our general fund help us to pay for our basic operating expenses and to support the many projects of our 12 action teams. And those who have donated toward our endowment fund are dedicated to the long-term health and viability of the Sustainability Coalition. We are very grateful for the support of all our engaged partners. We also want to thank our monthly donors. Monthly donations are especially important to us because they provide the coalition with a reliable funding stream. Monthly donations currently range from $5 a month to $150 a month, and all of these gifts contribute to the creation of a sustainable community. Please consider what a sustainable community means to you: a community that values environmental quality, social equity, and economic vitality, and think about making a donation of that amount each month. Now, another way you can contribute is through the Bottle Drop program. Simply collect your aluminum cans and glass bottles and place them in a pre-labeled blue bag and drop it off at the Corvallis Bottle Drop location on 9th Street. Marge Stevens is our bottle drop coordinator. Marge, would you please stand? There, she's right in the back, holding up a blue bag. So however you choose to support the Sustainability Coalition, whatever amount you're able to give, please know that we are very grateful for your gifts. So today is our 39th quarterly gathering. Our last in-person gathering in this room was our annual meeting in January 2020. It's really good to be back here. And here's what we'll be doing. Here's what we'll be doing during the next hour and a half together. We'll begin with a land acknowledgement, then have some brief introductions of our partner organizations. Then we'll take a few minutes for some networking, and the bulk of our meeting will be for our presentations. And after each presentation, we'll have a few minutes for audience Q&A. And then at the very end, we will have announcements. So the mission of the Corvallis Sustainability Coalition is to promote an ecologically, socially, and economically healthy city and county. We focus on the future, envisioning the world that we would like to see, and take action toward that vision in the present. But living more sustainably also requires us to think holistically and long-term, not just looking forward to the future, but to recognize on whose ancestral lands we reside. And so we'd like to acknowledge and honor that we reside in Champinafu, the ancestral land of the Ampinafu Kalapuya people, who have stewarded this land through hundreds of generations. Today, Kalapuya people are members of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indian Community of Oregon. Colonization has shaped the reality of everyone, all of us here today. We take this opportunity to acknowledge that fact and to express our desire to be part of the much-needed process of learning about our land ancestry and repairing relationships with Kalapuya people, Champinafu land, and Champinafu waters as an investment in the generations to come. Beyond merely acknowledging this need, it's important that we demonstrate reciprocity. The coalition has been one of multiple partners to collaborate with the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, helping to produce the annual Champinafu series, which provides a forum for Kalapuya people to tell the stories of their culture. The next series will start in October and extend through December. Another way that we're showing reciprocity is we are planting throughout Corvallis native plant species that are culturally relevant to the Kalapuya people. We encourage everyone to visit the Chichalu Museum to foster and deepen an appreciation of the Kalapuya culture and the land that they sustained for millennia. So now we're going to move into the presentation part of our program. People often mistakenly think about sustainability only in environmental terms. And although protecting and restoring our life support system, our water, our soil, and our air is absolutely critical to sustainability, the social and economic aspects are also essential. For our first presentation, I'd like to introduce Cookie Johnson, who is the heart and soul and amazing master coordinator of the Marys River Gleaners. The social aspect of sustainability is about meeting people's basic needs, and as you'll hear, the Marys River Gleaners is especially focused on this part of creating a sustainable community. Please give Cookie a warm welcome.
I don't know if I've met some of you in here. A lot of you know me by sight, but very plain spoken, I normally tell people, not normally, I do tell people what I think. So first I'd like to say, I do not look like Whoopi Goldberg. I'm cuter than her. And second, I'm going to read what I wrote here in our brochure. and then tell you a few other things. But I've been doing this. I joined Gleaners in 2003, and it was like a hit and miss at first. And then about 2006, I got really involved, and I took over in 2007. That's how involved I was. I didn't just go in and say, hey, I'm taking over, But I ended up the coordinator. And for a while there, I was coordinator, co-coordinator, secretary. I did have a treasurer, and I just fell in love with it. I found out how much I love helping people. And I delivered to 13 people in the beginning. And what really set my mind and heart to doing this, and my soul, there was a lady, she hadn't been out of her house in 12 years. And one of her nurses or whatever contacted me, and we started delivering food to her. So I'd make her my last delivery. And I'd knock on the door and say, hi, it's Cookie. I brought you some cookies, And she would crack the door about that much. And then after about a year, she cracked it about that much. And pretty soon, one day she invited me in. And she says, well, I have tea, and I hate tea. But I said, oh, that's wonderful. So I went in, and we had the cookies that I brought and the tea, and we started talking, and I just enjoyed her so much. And then after that, it was just like whatever I could do to help people, whatever I could do to help anyone. And I was raised where color doesn't matter, I'm like a UN family, my family. I have 3 sons. My oldest son is married to a Hispanic girl. We call her Hispanic, she goes nuts, she's Spanish. And I have 2 daughter-in-laws. Both of them are Hawaiian. One is Hawaiian and Japanese. The other one's Hawaiian and Chinese. And then my husband's Caucasian. So, yeah, we're a mixture, honey. You walk through the door, you're just you, not, oh my goodness, look what came in the door. So that's the way I run my Gleaners. There's no color there. There's no turning anyone away unless you come in like a buffoon. And I can tell you about buffoons, but we won't go there. But I enjoy what I do. It's keeping me alive, keeping me young. And believe it or not, I'm only 19. No, I'm 76. And like I said, it's keeping me alive. I have something to do. I enjoy it. So therefore, I'm going to read this to you. My voice is kind of hoarse today. I have allergies. Mary's Rivers Gleaners is a nonprofit 5013 self-help organization that serves to provide food to individuals and families who live at or below the poverty line in Corvallis. It is a very frail community. About 75% of our members are elderly or disabled, and 48% are homebound, and food is delivered to them. 20% are children. Able-bodied members volunteer a minimum of 8 hours a month, and this was written 2 years ago. So last 2 years, I think we probably had about 13 or 14,000 hours volunteer, because we never closed during the COVID. We wrapped up, bound up, masked up, gloved up, and we still continued. We're donated in order to gather and redistribute the food. Mary's River Gleaners operates under auspicious, I can't even talk, excuse me, under Linn Food Share. Let's skip that word. Financial support to purchase food and pay for program essentials is raised by donations, grants, and fundraisers. All donations are accepted. Volunteer opportunities are available. You can contact me, Cookie Johnson, and I brought a few brochures. My phone number's on them and my email. And let me tell you about Gleaners. It's just, we go in, I've got this rule. Can't come through the door unless you're smiling. And if you've got a small frown when you leave, you'll be laughing. We enjoy each other. When I first started, we had Sadie Hawkins Day once a month. And some of the guys, boy, the way they, especially Carl Bass, God bless his soul, he's gone now. Carl was in his late 70s, almost 80, and he would come with this long, stringy blonde wig on and false eyelashes. And it was a lot of fun. And we would always have a gift to go to the winner. And then after that, we would have sort of like a crocheting contest and things like that. We stayed, it wasn't only working, it's staying busy. And we're all related as far as I'm concerned. So when they come in, most of them are, hi, Mom. I've got people in their 80s calling me Mom. And every child that comes in there calls me Grandma Cookie and come and give me a snotty kiss or crawl up on my lap, which I enjoy. Like I said, I love it. And any donations are accepted, monetary or food-wise. And Linn Food Share, let me talk a little bit about them. I met Susan and Mike and Colleen and a few other workers there. This lady here, I love her. They treated me like family. They showed me the ins and outs. If I had any problems, I'd go to them and they would try to rectify them. A lot of times they would say, watch your mouth, Cookie, because I do have a mouth. But other than that, we get along great. I would love for you all to come and visit, see what we do and how we do it. And if you have any backyard gleans you'd like picked, any type of vegetable, we pick oranges, apples, cherries, whatever you have, we will pick it. And we also pick up wood. If you've had a tree taken down, we will come and cut it in the rounds or whatever and bring it back to Gleaners, and we'll split it. And then we give it to our adoptees and Gleaners. So it's we give you heat, we give you food, and we give you plenty of love. And I'm in a hurry today or I talk longer, so I'm going to have to grab my little jacket and run out, but I'd like to take some questions first.
Where is Mary's River Gleaners?
We're located in Pioneer Park. Where is Mary's Rivers Gleaners? Pioneer Park in Corvallis. We're down by the baseball field. Hi.
Do you get food from any of the local grocery stores?
Yes, we do. We receive food from Winco Grocery Outlet, all three Safeways. What else?
First Alternative?
First Alternative, right. Both, yes. Both of their stores. Trader Joe's, thank you, darling. It's just whoever calls, we get food from. KFC will donate leftover chicken and stuff. We get it from the Little Caesars Pizza. People have called me and say my mother just died, and I'll go over and go through their canned goods and take whatever we want, and sometimes ask them, do you want to keep this or can we have it or what? But we do what needed to do whenever it's needed and don't mind doing it.
How many volunteers do you have, and how many volunteers are you looking for?
Well, we want as many as we can get. We ask that all of our volunteers put in at least 8 hours a month because no one's paid, not even moi. We all glean what we can get, and that's how we do it. So if you want to volunteer, you can just call me, and I can tell you when to come down, and the growing season is up on us, so we'll be going out in the fields picking vegetables and fruit. And in a minute, my voice is going to cut off. I have bad allergies, so just bear with me. Sir, did you have your hand up?
I was going to ask what kind of volunteer jobs you're looking for.
Well, a little bit of everything. We need people to help keep the yard clean, our area clean. We need people to check the vegetables that we get. We don't refuse anything, but some of the stuff we get is not quite up to par, so we'll separate it. I don't want to give people things that we wouldn't eat. We have totes that always need washing, floors always that need sweeping, refrigerators that need cleaning. We rotate our meat, and the girl that does that, she's out for the next couple of weeks on vacation, so I've got a person to do it, but I only do it for 2 days, so there's always something to do. We need someone with a strong back and that's not scared of heights to crawl up on the building and sweep all the little twigs and leaves off. And we always need our shed rearranged, and we have a conics there. We were having things removed from us without our permission. I don't want to say someone stole it, but that's what they did. And so I wrote a grant. Excuse me. I wrote a grant, and we bought a large conics. It's red and white, the kind they sit on trains and things, and so we haven't had a break-in since then. Our splitter was stolen twice, and then I wrote another grant and received another one, so we keep it in the conics now. Most of our working equipment we keep in there. I have a small wooden shed that we keep canned goods in. It's been broken into, but mostly what the people take is candy. If I have boxes of candy, they won't touch the canned goods. We have some canned goods come in with what we call the granny chin. It's a little dent on the side. So I'll sit those out on the table. There's a table right behind Susan over there on the building. And do you know they will not take them? I'm serious. But let me sit one sock out there, it's gone. I mean, just things that doesn't make sense, you know? And if you don't know who these people are, the guy standing next to me, that's the mayor of Albany. And then that's Catherine Watson. That's the ex-mayor of Albany, of Philomath, and that's Susan James on the end. And that lady right there, I see her every day. Geez, Lori Davis. Lord have mercy. They brought me flowers. Both mayors got together and brought me yellow roses. Yeah. And that's the first time I've ever received yellow roses. Everyone that knows me know I love purple, but I adored them. So, and that's our little area there. Perfect. I just love you guys very much. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm going to leave these back here on the table somewhere so everyone can take one.
Perfect.
And God bless you all for what you do.
Thank you so much, Cookie, for all the work that you're doing and for coming and speaking to us today. Really, really.
I wouldn't run away, but I have to.
Okay. All right. So our next speaker is Dan Orzech, founder and general manager of the Oregon Clean Power Cooperative, which is the coalition's partner in our Solarize Corvallis initiative. Dan was born and bred in Corvallis, and he's been working hard during the past few years to bring more large-scale solar not only to our community, but to organizations all over the state of Oregon. Please join me in welcoming Dan to the podium.
Will you give me a high sign when I have 2 minutes?
Definitely.
Okay, hello everyone. So first of all, what a hard act to follow. What a great organization. I want to go down and I need some exercise, so I'm going to go down and volunteer to split wood. All right, hello. I'm Dan Orzech, General Manager, Oregon Clean Power Co-op. I'm going to show you some of what we've done and some of the cool stuff that we're about to do with your help. So let's start out by looking at some of the solar projects that we've done. We'll start, I think, the way this is organized in Corvallis. And I'm going to zip through some of these quickly. So Sheldon, we just put up these. Peter Greenberg is wandering around here somewhere. He's the fellow who put those up. And he also put up our solar panels at Linus Pauling. We did the new facilities operations building on campus and Block 15 a year or two ago. First United Methodist Church. And this is the Oregon Shakespeare Festival production building in Talent, Oregon. And I think I'm going to come back and talk more about this because this is actually a really interesting slide. Not quite what you think it is when you're looking at it. We do solar and we also do storage, batteries. So when you may know if you have solar panels on your roof and the grid goes out, the solar goes out as well. So you're not going to have power unless you have batteries. So we've been putting in batteries for a number of years. mostly at key organizations where we can. This is at the fire station just outside of Talent. And if you remember, September 2020, 40% of the city burned, including the Pacific Power substation. So they were out of power. So we put this in after that. But if there's a natural disaster in the future, they will have some power in town. Camp out in eastern Oregon, very close to the summer camp near the Idaho border. And this may be a little out of order, but this is a really cool project that I want to tell you about that we're doing. So this is in partnership with the Warm Springs Community Action Team up on the Warm Springs Reservation. They are a fantastic nonprofit doing some really great work up there. And what I'm not showing you here is their building, which is just boring looking, where we just put up solar panels. This is what they call the commissary building on the reservation. So this is 1890s building. And if you know the history of the tribes, when they were moved from a couple of places, but mainly along the Columbia from their rich fishing grounds there, they moved to this barren Central Oregon landscape where they had no way to support themselves, to grow food. So they were dependent on the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and this building was where the food was stored. So this building symbolizes to the tribes that period of dependency and oppression, if you will. And so what the Warm Springs Community Action Team is doing is they picked it up and they moved it right along Highway 26 there, and they are converting it into a net zero energy building, which is going to hold a business incubator and food court. So what you see on the far left there is the commissary building. I put it in this category because even though it's not installed yet, it's financed. We got a grant for a big chunk of it from Pacific Power, the Blue Sky program. So we are grateful to them. So the other thing that we just finished recently is our solar harvest project. This is in partnership with OSU. This slide, if you turn your head, is obviously an aerial showing you the design of the solar project. This is a community solar project, and the reason, so most large ground-mounted solar projects like this would be one rectangle or square of solar panels, right? This one has spaces there. So what's up with that? That's because what we're doing is partnering with OSU's College of Agriculture for them to study what happens if you plant plants under and between rows of solar panels. So the bare areas there are their control areas to actually do, I like to say, apples to apples comparisons to do real science. This is what it looked like last fall. This is the first crop going in. Grass seed. Who knew? I've learned all sorts of stuff. Grass is the global reference crop. Probably people here who work in ag or something know this, but I didn't know that if you grow grass, you can, and measure its growth, you can then extrapolate from that to any other crop on the planet. So they're growing grass here to see how it works with solar panels. This is hemp. This experiment, they want to see what happens if you plant green under solar panels. Will it create a microclimate that will keep them cool? And solar panels produce more energy when they're cool. A lot of people have been coming through. This is getting statewide and beginning to get national attention. So there are tours every week. This was about 50 people from the nonprofit Solar Oregon that came through. So these are projects we've done. But when I say we, who am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about everyone in this room. So you are very likely sitting next to or in the same row as someone who has invested in one of these projects that you're looking at. So the way we work is we use grants wherever we can, but the base for our project financing is from community investment. So one share is $1,000, and anyone who lives in Oregon can invest in any of our projects. And that's what has enabled many of these projects that you're looking at. So I'm very excited today, in partnership with the Sustainability Coalition, to be able to let you know that we are just about to roll out 5 projects in Corvallis that are in need of investment. So the first one is the Benton County Historical Society. We all know Bruce the Moose. And the Corvallis building, no good for solar because it's shaded. The Philomath Museum, also no good for solar because it's a historic building and you can't put anything on the roof that's visible from the street. But if you look to the left there, their storage, their artifact storage or collection building is perfect for solar. So we're putting 110 kW of solar up on that roof, and that actually will produce enough to power both of the buildings there in Philomath. And that project should be open for investment by tomorrow. If the phone doesn't ring, I might have the paperwork ready this afternoon. So we are, and we need, I think, $126,000 to finance that project. So we welcome anyone here who wants to help. Very excited to be able to tell you that we're putting more solar up on the roof of both co-op stores. I say co-op, we're a co-op, First Alternative Co-op. We're really psyched to be able to do solar for another cooperative. And the other very cool piece for this project is that we're putting, as I showed you, battery storage in, and quite a large amount. So if you remember a few years ago, the substation on 3rd Street there, just a couple of blocks from the South Co-op, went out for about a week, and that building was out of power. They lost tens of thousands of dollars of food that spoiled. So we're putting in battery storage that hopefully will keep their refrigeration down there in the new annex building, keep that powered up if the power goes out. And then the last projects I want to tell you about in Corvallis are 3 buildings at OSU, Richardson, which is forestry, Beth Ray Center for Academic Support, and Milam Hall. So we'll be looking for investments for all of those very soon. All right, so let me talk about community solar a little bit. You see some familiar names? Community solar there are actually 4 different types of community solar in Oregon. So what I've been describing so far, we call co-op solar, but there's another, I can't say statewide program, but a program that the legislature passed that covers Pacific Power and PGE. Thank you, Annette. That what it does is it lets you put solar up that's not on the roof of a building or ground connected to a building, but somewhere else, and then get that, not the power, but get those credits shown on your bill. So the Solar Harvest project with OSU that I showed you is a community solar project. You have to live in PGE territory to sign up for that, but we are signing up people right now. They'll get their power at a 12.5% discount, and they're supporting that research. This is a super boring slide. This is a project that's in the work, but the project is not boring. This is a project in Beaverton. It's going to go on a mini storage building that's going to be 100% low income. So all of the people who participate will be low income, and they will get, we're still running the numbers, but we expect that we'll be able to give them a 50% or more discount on their power. I mentioned the City of Talent. This is the same sort of project in Southern Oregon. So this is going to, 100% of the benefits of this project will go to low-income residents of the City of Talent. And as I mentioned, they are in financial straits, many of them, because 40% of the city burned. And I think we're almost at the end. Yes. So this is another research project with OSU at the Jacksonville Extension Center in Southern Oregon. That's Alec Levin down there, who's their wine grape expert. They would like to research how wine grapes grow if you put up solar panels, so in that partial shade, and pears. So those are the 2, pears less so now, but those are the 2 large agricultural crops in Jackson County. And then the last thing, I just want to plant the seed, and can I direct people to you, Larry, if people want to talk about community solar in Corvallis? So this, you may not recognize, let me zoom out here a little bit. So this is our wastewater treatment plant, right? And you can see on the bottom there's existing solar panels. That field is empty. The city did a facility survey recently, which I believe said that they're not planning on putting any buildings there. So it's a perfect spot for a local community solar project, which any of us here could both help finance and sign up for the power. So putting that out there. If the city is interested or any of our citizens are interested, we'd be happy to run it. No cost to city. We would take the land, put up the solar, run the whole thing. So if you're on the left there, you can see the highway. So if you come up Circle and turn right, and you go down that highway, and if you're going south, you would look over to your left.
Highway is Circle.
No, 99. That's 99, right? Yeah. You actually can't see it if you're going south, but if you're going north, you can look over to your right and see those solar panels.
That's the Willamette River there.
That's the Willamette River. Yeah. At the top there is Home Depot. That's our wastewater treatment plant, our sewage plant, and Public Works. Yeah.
How many kilowatts can go there?
Good question. So it depends. So there's lots of land. There's like 18 acres there, more than we would need. And the critical piece that I don't know is how much capacity there is on the grid. But we could put probably, let's just say, close to 2 megawatts. And for comparison, the largest solar project in Corvallis at the moment is the on Campus Way, the OSU project, and that's about 1.2 megawatts. So a good amount of solar. Yeah.
In the back?
Yeah.
Just want to let you know, I got an email today from let's see, the USGS, whatever, but there's basically NOAA has all of these grants coming out that are due, and they're looking for community projects to enhance resilience, whatever. It might be a great place for you to go.
Great, thank you. Yeah, there's actually a lot of federal money and tax credits that are making it easier to do these projects. I wouldn't say easy. It's the federal government, but easier, yeah. Yes?
I wasn't quite clear. What do you need in order to get this off the ground?
Well, what we need is a lease from the city to let us use the land for 20 years. Yeah. We would even pay them for it. So we have done, or we're doing solar projects with OSU, with the city of Medford. We've talked with the city of Bend, city of Phoenix, probably a couple of others I'm not thinking of right now. All of those are $1 a year or free leases. But, if the city wants us to pay, we'll pay them.
Last
Annette.
question. What should people do if they are interested in being a community investor?
Thank you. Good question. So I'm out of brochures. I do have cards in the back and pens. Oregon Clean Power Co-op. Go to our website or the Sustainability Coalition website. Our partnership for solar is called Solarize Corvallis. And put your name. There's a form there. You can put your name on the list, and we'll sign you up.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now our next presenter is Will Allender, who represents one of the coalition's newest partner organizations, Willamette Tides. And Will is going to tell us a little bit about Willamette Tides and what they're doing to help create a sustainable community, environmentally, socially, and economically. Please give Will a warm welcome.
All right, well, I think I got tricked into doing this presentation. I was told I was going to be leading a raft trip down the river, and you guys don't look dressed appropriately for that, so I guess we're just going to talk about it. My name's Will Allender. Karina Flores is here with me, and we both work for Willamette Tides. We're a new company in Corvallis. And so what we offer is self-guided and more recently, potentially guided trips on the Willamette River for inner tubes, kayaks, and rafts. We also provide, if you rent the equipment, we also provide the paddles and the life jackets and whistles and everything that's legally required to be on the river. And most importantly, we provide the shuttle, which is a real problem on the Willamette to get people moving up and down the river on the roads. We offer 2 trips right now. We do a 2-hour trip that leaves from down near the water treatment plant on the south side of Willamette Park, south of Crystal Landing. That's the image on the left. It's about a 3-mile trip, and you float your way back to Michael's Landing. So we meet everybody down at Michael's Landing, and then we either bus you up to the put-in at Willamette Park, or if you're doing the 9-mile trip, which takes out Dennett Hayek Park, we will meet you down there and pick you up with the shuttle bus. So again, it's a 2-hour or 4-hour float, and just yesterday we had a custom request from somebody that wants to do a business team building exercise, and they're going to do a 3-hour float. We're actually going to put in at Hayek and take out at Bowman Park, so we're now extending down into Albany. We also do custom shuttles for people, and just recently I took somebody up to Eugene. They were going to spend 10 days on the river, and I picked her up in Champouie State Park. She had a great float down the river, camping every night from her kayak. We started, actually Travis Limerick started this company last year. Him and his brothers put it together. He would have liked to have been here today, but his wife just had a baby, so they're very busy. But just him and his brothers, they were able to generate, or they had 900 customers, and that's pretty good considering we're only open on Saturday and Sunday for 2 months out of the year, so just July and August. We are well on track to beat that target this year. Like I said, I just got a booking yesterday for 60 people. It's a team building exercise with a local nursery, and they're going to float from Hayek down to Bowman. Most of our customers are in-state, but as you can see from the heat map on the right side there, we do track where our customers come from. We've had a lot of wedding parties, a lot of company parties. People were coming all the way from the East Coast and Texas and Florida and pretty much from all over the country to visit Oregon. And we've had people stop by and say, hey, I've got a couple hours to spend in Corvallis. What is there to do? And pretty soon they're on one of our watercraft floating down the river. We provide non-motorized river recreation. None of our watercraft are motorized. And as part of our trips, we also do a safety talk. I am also an adult learn to swim instructor, and I know from personal experience that about 1 in 3 people, or 1 in 3 adults, do not know how to swim. And so getting people out on the water is something that I'm very interested in doing. From a sustainability standpoint, obviously a shuttle bus is more efficient than all those cars traveling up and down the road. Our shuttle bus for the past 3 weekends has been pretty much running at capacity. We can only haul 14 passengers because nobody has a CDL license in our company, but that could change. So right now we're doing what we can with what we have, but that bus is pretty much at capacity on a hot afternoon on the Willamette. Again, we're providing non-motorized outdoor recreation and water safety. The big event that we're doing at the end of the season is on September 9th, and that's a festival that's going to be at the Crystal Landing, the Crystal Sports Complex. And we're going to do 2 races that day, one from the landing there down to Michael's Landing, and one from Crystal Landing down to Hayek. It'll be a fun race. You can bring whatever watercraft you have. You can rent one from us. I can tell you the competition's going to be pretty stiff because I know of somebody that their watercraft is a swimsuit, and he's a very fast swimmer. And he's going to get to Hayek before any boat gets there. I can guarantee it. But all the profits from this event are going to Unity Shelter. So we've partnered with the coalition, with Unity Shelter, and all the proceeds are going to Unity Shelter to help build micro shelters for the homeless. And so you can find out more about the event at rivershelter.com/race. Again, it's at the Crystal Lake Sports Complex. We're going to have local food trucks, live music, a bounce house for the kids, some activity booths, and as I said, the race out on the river. It'll be a fun race. And that is it for my slides. Is there any questions? Have you all seen us in town? Yeah, all right.
Do you ever put in at Peoria and take out at Michael's Landing?
So we have our, because we're so small right now, we just have the one bus. We're doing our 2 main floats from Willamette to Michael's and Michael's to Hayek. That's on Saturday and Sunday. We will do custom trips Monday through Friday by request from Eugene all the way down to Oregon City. Yeah. Yep.
Not clear, are these guided or self-guided or both?
These are self-guided because the Willamette River is pretty safe, but as part of our safety talk, we talk about all the potential hazards that could be on the river, you know, the trees that come down over top of the water or potentially up in the water. Those are called strainers and sweepers. We teach people what to do if they fall out of the watercraft, how to get back in the boat. So again, the Willamette's pretty safe. It's considered Class 1 water, so we're not doing any Class 3 whitewater trips at this time. We're discussing it. Yes.
What kind of watercraft do you have?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, yes. So, yes, what kind of watercraft we have? We have one-person inner tubes. We have inflatable kayaks that are for 1 or 2 people. And then we have rafts that hold up to 5 people or 4 people in a cooler, which is pretty common. Yes.
Do you work with the sheriff department in case someone gets in trouble on it?
So we have their number now. We have it very handy. And we started putting up a tent down on the water so that people that float down know where to take out. The first day of the season, we had someone float by Michael's Landing. They actually made it a mile downstream, and they were picked up by the sheriff boat and brought back to us. And I talked to the sheriff, the people running the boat, and they said, call us anytime. If we're nearby, we'll go pick them up. Or we may be in Harrisburg, and it'll take us a few hours to get there, but that's quicker than floating all the way to Albany, potentially. Right here?
Why, oh, why do you choose orange t-shirts?
They're very bright. Yes, why are the t-shirts so bright? They match our watercraft. So if you see this color out on the water, that's one of ours. And I hope it's not messing up the camera because I know colors are picked up by camera a little different. Yes, right here.
So if you have a kayak, well, I was going to say Peoria, and somebody else did too, and say you float down to Hyack, do you have space for the kayak, or you just take it in the boat?
Yes, yes. Yes, the question was basically what is our vehicle situation? We have a 14-passenger bus, and behind that we tow a 16-foot flatbed trailer. So we can haul probably up to a dozen kayaks. And that's one thing I failed to mention was we also do the shuttle service. If you have your own boat, you don't need to rent from us. And those shuttles are pretty cheap. It's $10 to get to Willamette Park and $15 from Hyack. So.
Let me back a bit. So it's okay. Let's say if you're in Peoria, it's not going to work because you're not going to Peoria now.
So if you want to do a custom trip, basically you tell us where you want to start, where you want to finish, and where you want us to meet you. We will pick you up. We will carry your boat. We will get you to Peoria to put in, and we can pick you up at Hyack at the end of your float. It's entirely custom during the week, whatever your needs are.
And that's, let's say from Peoria to Hyack, how much is that?
I don't have, so we have a spreadsheet that we plug in the mileage. I don't have that one off the top of my head.
Are there any other questions?
I'm going to say roughly $100, probably less. And that's per trip. So if you share that with 13 other people, you're looking at $8 a person or less. Yeah, so that's for the whole bus.
All right. Thank you so much. In 2008, a long time ago, the coalition led a community-wide public process that revolved around 3 town hall meetings attended by hundreds of people, many of whom then served on work groups that developed a sustainability action plan for the Corvallis community. This is actually a revision of it from 2013. We reviewed and revised it. It was a lot thicker than this to begin with. This document has provided an important framework for action in 12 topic areas, both for our partner organizations and for the coalition's action teams. Our final presenter today is Julie Williams, who is a longtime member of the coalition's Energy Action Team. And Julie is speaking today on behalf of the Energy Action Team, and she is also the founder and president of Seeds for the Soul. That's S-O-L, as in solar. And Seeds for the Soul is our partner in the Shift Together campaign that Julie will be talking about. So please give Julie a warm welcome.
Good afternoon. Nice to see everybody here, and thank you, Annette. Yes, I've been on the Energy Action Team since around 2012, I believe, and there's just been some uptick in what we've been doing, and I think it'll be exciting to you all. So here we go. So first of all, the vision for the Energy Action Team is for Corvallis to achieve energy security and net zero greenhouse gas emissions. And to do that, we need to reduce our energy consumption, as well as shift to 100% renewable energy. And there's been a lot of energy in those two areas in our state as well. And then no net greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. This may seem pie in the sky, yet it is a necessity if we wish to maintain a livable planet. And so I remain hopeful because of some pretty significant shifts that are happening globally, federally, and locally. One of those being the Inflation Reduction Act, as well as the Oregon Heat Pump Deployment Act, and Energy Trust's no-cost insulation and ductless heat pump programs for people who are low to middle income. So there are reasons to be really hopeful right now. In response to these new and significant initiatives, we'll let the train pass. Okay, most of it's gone now. In response to these new and significant initiatives, the Corvallis Sustainability Coalition's Energy Action Team launched the Shift Together campaign in March at our town hall, Sustainability Town Hall. So this new initiative is designed to do three things. First, it's to educate people so they understand the benefits that they qualify for. The second is to connect people to these vast varieties of incentives that are available to them. Third is to support everyone in our community with these resources and funding as we make the shift together toward energy efficiency and renewable energy. So why do we need to shift together? Well, that sums it up, and it's pretty grim. We're in a climate emergency right now at 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit that we've gained in our global temperature. It'll be with us for a long while. So we're experiencing hotter summers. These aren't going away. It's the new normal. And we need to do some things to adapt. But better than adaptation is to mitigate. And when we can do that by reducing energy usage, which reduces carbon consumption, so mitigation, and then we can add energy equity, we have a trifecta of positive work before us that is doable. It is compelling and it is possible. So this is part where I'm excited and I find great hope. About 40%, 40 to 60%, because it depends on who you talk to, of our energy usage in the USA is in our homes. And it's what we choose as a society to utilize to keep ourselves comfortable. And we can shift 75% of that energy usage by becoming more energy efficient, and 100% if we can get to renewable energy. So just imagine if every home in Corvallis, or every living space, I should say, because not all of us get to own a home, but every living space in Corvallis could reduce their energy usage and either utilize renewable energy or become so efficient that it's minimized. So this is what's before us. So rather than face this, which I don't want to, it's already here, but can we undo it? Well, yes, we can if we shift together. So what's exciting to me and has had me lit up since it passed was the Inflation Reduction Act. And what's beautiful about this act is it's an unprecedented amount of funding that will come to our community members in every plausible demographic. So not just the wealthy having access to energy efficiency for their homes, and also I just want to point out that those of us that have stronger, what do I want to say, incomes, we tend to use more carbon. And so we want to make sure that everyone can decrease their carbon usage and decrease their energy usage. So the Inflation Reduction Act has benefits for people at 80% of the median area income and lower, which should pay for almost 100% of their energy needs as they retrofit and upgrade their living spaces, as well as landlords can access this as, in that same demographic. If 50% of the people in their rental is at this 80% or lower, they can access the same sorts of funding to retrofit their buildings. If you're 80% to 150% of the area median income, you get about 50% of those fabulous amounts that you see there that you can apply to the energy efficiency retrofit on your home. And then if you're above 150% of the area median income, you get the 30% federal tax credit, which is still very beneficial. And you have lowered bills, significantly lowered energy bills. And you're doing something great for the planet. So all these things need to be focused on, and the Shift Together campaign is rising out of that we need everyone to access these. And they'll be for a limited time, but a long time, 10 years. So we have 10 years to access this, and the more we do early on in the early years, the better that is for our community. Another thing that's really important is, as a community, I know the city has been addressing some of their carbon usage and their energy efficiency, but we as a community at large have not had a chance to do that with the same efficiency. And so what we need is for people to understand these incentives that are out there and get engaged and join some of the events that Shift Together has put together for people to increase their understanding of these incentives. So we're lagging behind on our climate action plan as far as buildings and energy are concerned, but we can leap ahead over the next few years and finish strong. So yes, no one can do this alone. Greta's awesome, but if we make her a poster child and don't act, we're still in the same place. If we can move forward, we have to do it together. We link elbows, and away we go, right? So when we shift together, we thrive. The next generation thrives. What we're doing right now thrives. Our pocketbook can thrive. So many things that we think of about our own comfort and what we do as a community can be better, healthier, if we can shift together. How do we participate? Well, one way to participate is to check into the Corvallis Sustainability Coalition's website, and there's a place where you can hit a Shift Together button, if I'm correct. And that can take you to a place where you can sign up for a home energy assessment. We've trained a team of people that can come out and assess your home. And as we assess it, it's very simple. It takes a half hour and at the max. And then we can give you some prioritized ideas about how to address your home's efficiency, as well as some great trade allies that would come in and give you bids on how to do that. If you're low to middle income, there are upgraded things that we can do in the state of Oregon, and especially in the Pacific Power region, because we have access to Energy Trust of Oregon's incentives as well. So lots of ways to make your home more energy efficient. Another thing you can do is attend our home energy fair. Margie Stevens got a grant to start this discussion. So at Franklin Park on the 31st from 6 to 8, Franklin Park's right there behind Corvallis High School on 16th Street. We'll have a lot of different things that you can look at and some trade allies and some people there to help you understand the energy efficiency of your home and what you can do to make it better. So please come connect with us. Another wonderful thing you can do is join a peer learning group. This is the first peer learning group here, but is to learn all the different facets of making your homes more sustainable, and then you can share that and become a leader of a peer learning group in your neighborhood or within your social groups, the people you sip wine with, you know, those fun folks. So that peer learning group can then multiply and exponentially grow the knowledge we need to shift together. Another method is to sign up for the Saving Green consultation, and this is for businesses and larger organizations. Jeanette Hardison has greased the wheels, and now her locomotive is running. She has so many groups signed up for this, and they have similar incentives to the ones that we're dealing with at Seeds for the Soul with residential people. So in your business, Energy Trust of Oregon has some great things to reduce your energy usage through lighting, how you heat and cool, all sorts of methods, and Jeanette's a great person to share that with you. So please, you can sign up there as well on the Coalition's website. The other thing is to help spread the word. So we want to be able to come to every organization in Corvallis and reach out to everyone. If you want someone to come in and express at a brown bag lunch at your workplace, or an after hours presentation, or a staff meeting, we'll come in and explain within a half hour to 20 minutes how they can shift together or interact with our different organizations, but to get engaged with the Shift Together campaign. And I do believe our future, the next generation, is riding on these actions that we can take together. So hopefully you can do that. And
We're ready for Q&A.
Q&A. Yeah, I just want to throw out one other thing. I know for Seeds for the Soul, right now, if you're familiar with what we do, we provide zero-interest loans for people to access these energy efficiencies. And then through the energy savings they experience, they pay their loan off. So it has zero impact on their home. We now, working with the Energy Trust, have a method for people to do that much more rapidly with no-cost insulation and no-cost ductless heat pumps. And we're trying to rebuild a quick revolve loan system. And so if anyone here is willing to allow your savings account to sit in our account for a year or two, we can pass this on and revolve it and then give it back to you at the end of that. And so please contact us if you can do that. And now I would love to take questions.
So while you're doing
Yeah.
Q&A, we're going to pass around clipboards so you can indicate how you would like to participate in Shift Together.
So shifting together by signing up as in a peer learning group or a home energy assessment or another form of volunteering. And Ruby, yes.
I just wanted to thank you for including low-income people, because that is huge. Those people never get to speak for themselves, and they don't get to attend these meetings.
Thank you, Ruby. Ruby was just thankful that we're providing ways to interact with low-income people in our town. Yes.
So I think I had solar panels 7 years ago, and I love your presentation. I mean, it's right on. But also, there's been progress made in the last 7 years. People have added, there are a lot of pictures. I would love to see a graphic sometime that shows how much progress we've made in the last 10 years, because I think we've made a lot, and I don't know where we are in that thing.
Progress.
In that gap.
So wanting to see the progress over the last 10 years, and I know Court did an assessment that's probably a year and a half to 2 years old, and I cannot remember. We were closing in on 10 megawatts in Corvallis. We were very close to 10 megawatts. We're a fairly saturated community in Corvallis for solar, residential solar, on a comparative with maybe another community that's similar to ours. But there's a lot more to do. Yeah. I can tell you that our output since launching the Shift Together campaign has at least tripled. And I think Jeanette's has too, now that we spent the whole first half of the year building it, and now the faucet's on and it is starting to gush, which is awesome. That's the kind of movement we want to see. Jeanette, you had a comment.
Yeah, thank you, Jeanette Hardison, with the energy with this program, with all of this. I wanted to just clarify that, thank you for the shout out.
Yeah.
Right now, in particular, we are looking for small to medium local workplaces, so not a business necessarily, but a workplace that is looking for a fluorescent to LED upgrade. It is 100% free if it is a locally owned or non-commercial, non-conglomerate type of place. I'm sorry, my words aren't so good today, but give me a call, contact us through the website. If you are a small to medium business locally that would like to get your lighting retrofitted, I can hook you up with the energy folks doing it and help you right through the process. And it really is truly free right now. That's their emphasis right now.
And a significant savings in your year.
Thank you.
Do we get anyone else?
If anybody else wants to talk to Julie, which I encourage you to do, because she's got so much knowledge and enthusiasm. Julie, thank you so much. Okay. In the time that remains, we've got 10 minutes left. We'd like to make some brief announcements, and first we'd like to tell you about some of the events that the coalition is involved with, and then we'll hear from some of our partner organizations and what they're doing. This is a very busy time for us, as you can see. We've got 5 events coming up, and the first is a pop-up vegetable garden plant clinic here at the library this Saturday from 10 to 1. It will be in the older section of the library, the historic Belushi room, and you'll have a chance to learn from Benton County Master Gardeners how to extend your vegetable garden harvest through the winter. And Julie had mentioned the Home Energy Fair that's this Monday evening, this coming Monday evening, at one of our community's, I think, most beautiful little parks is Franklin Square Park. And these are the exhibitors who will be there. There are 3 businesses and 7 nonprofits that will be there to help you. I mean, that is our whole reason for having this fair, is to handhold if you need it, or simply provide you with information if that's all you need. But, you know, if you're not 100% solar or electrified, come on over to the park. It's going to be fun. And then coming up on Wednesday, August 9th, is our edible garden tour. We're focused on north central Corvallis this time. This is on Wednesday, August 9th from 5 to 8, and it's for anybody with any level of experience in gardening. It's really fun. We're going to have 5 different host gardeners sites, and join us, please. And then if you've never been to Open Streets, you gotta come. It is one of the most fun events in Corvallis. This is the 5th year of Open Streets, and we are proud co-sponsors of the Open Streets Corvallis event. It's a festival that reimagines a mile of walkable, bikeable city streets. So they close off the streets, and it usually goes from one park to another park, and I'll bet most people here don't know where Peanut Park is. So it's worth it to come just to figure out where Peanut Park is. It's a really sweet park. So lots of fun stuff. Sunday, August 20th from 11 to 3. And then finally, as Will had mentioned during his presentation, we are going to be co-sponsoring the River Shelter Race. We're very excited about doing this. The whole concept and the first constructed micro shelters happened through the coalition's housing action team. And so Unity Shelter is now overseeing the micro shelters, and we are just thrilled that Willamette Tides is taking the lead in helping to fundraise so we can have even more micro shelters to assist people who are really wanting to make the shift from experiencing homelessness to getting into transitional housing. Then just in closing, I want to ask you to stay in touch. Please join a coalition Google group if you are not already a member of one of our Google groups. We encourage everybody, especially, to join our Sustainable Corvallis Google group, because that's where both the coalition and our partner organizations have an opportunity to announce their events that are coming up. We also have an announcements group that is just limited to coalition events and activities. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. This is a great way to keep up with what's happening in the coalition, and check out our beautiful website that was designed by Sue Crawford, who is here today. I love our website. Visit it often, please. We hope you will join an action team or committee if you haven't already. And we always need short-term volunteers to help with our various events. We also welcome donations, because your support truly does matter. We rely on the community to fund the coalition. So I can't tell you how important that is. There are donor forms at the back of the room, or you can go to our website to make an online donation. And don't forget to pick up a blue bag from Marge at the back. You heard from just one of our action teams today, Energy, but we have 11 additional teams, and they're working on more than 40 projects. We are so grateful to all of our action teams and our committee members who give so generously of their time. And in closing, I would like to say thank you to all of you for recognizing the importance of building a sustainable community. We live at a time in human history when we are witness to the devastating impacts of human choices on our beautiful, precious planet. If we care to look, the signs are all around us, and we can either choose to ignore these signs and go about our lives as though nothing has changed, or we can seize this opportunity to be part of a great transition to live as lightly as possible on our planet. So I thank you so much for being part of this effort as we make this historic shift together. And thank you for coming today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.